In a time when the sun burned bright over the hills and valleys, there dwelled a man of humble means named Elias. He was a shepherd, known to wander the fields with his flock. And though his hands were rough from toil, his heart yearned for a higher calling. The voice of the Lord had whispered to him in dreams, but Elias doubted his worthiness. For he was a man of little influence and simple understanding. One evening, as Elias sat among his sheep, the sky painted with the hues of dusk, the voice came again, more vivid than ever before. Elias, arise, for I have set before you a path of promise. The blessings of a new season await, but first, you must pass through the refining fire of my tests. Elias trembled. For the voice was as thunder yet gentle as a spring rain. Lord, I am but a servant, unworthy of your call. How shall I pass through your tests when I lack strength? The voice replied, Fear not, for I am with you. The tests I set before you are not to destroy you but to prepare you. Steward well what I place in your hands, and you shall see my glory revealed. The next morning, Elias awoke with resolve in his heart. He set out to tend his flock, but as he walked, he noticed a lone lamb wandering far from the rest. Its path led to the edge of a steep cliff. Elias' heart quickened, for the lamb's life hung in the balance. He called out to it, but the lamb did not heed his voice. This is your first test, the voice of the Lord spoke within him. Will you leave the 99 to save the one? Without hesitation, Elias climbed the rocky path. The ground was loose, and each step threatened to send him tumbling. Yet, he pressed on, his eyes fixed on the lamb. When he reached it, the lamb bleated in fear, but Elias scooped it into his arms and carried it back to safety. As he returned to the flock, he felt the Lord's pleasure resting upon him. Days turned to weeks, and Elias found himself entrusted with more responsibilities. A merchant traveling through the region left a small bag of silver in Elias' care, promising to return for it. Guard it well, for it is all I have, the merchant said. Elias placed the silver in a jar and buried it beneath the oak tree where he often prayed. Time passed, and the merchant did not return. The villagers began to whisper, Surely the merchant has perished. Keep the silver for yourself, Elias. You have earned it through your labor. But Elias remembered the words of the Lord, Be faithful in little, and you will be trusted with much. He refused to touch the silver, though the days grew lean and his needs multiplied. One evening, the merchant returned, weary and worn. When Elias handed him the untouched silver, the man wept and said, You have been faithful with what is mine. May the God of heaven bless you abundantly. The voice of the Lord came to Elias that night, saying, You have passed the test of stewardship. Prepare, for greater things are yet to come. One fateful morning, a messenger arrived at Elias' door. He bore news of a great famine spreading across the land. The people were desperate, their stores of grain depleted. Elias looked upon his own modest supply and felt the weight of the test before him. Lord, he prayed, shall I keep this for my household, or shall I give to those in need? Give generously, and you will not lack, the Lord replied. Elias opened his storehouse and shared freely with his neighbors. Though his supply dwindled, it never ran dry. Each morning, he found just enough to sustain the flock and the people who came to him in need. The villagers marveled, saying, "Surely the hand of God is upon Elias." As the famine ended and the land began to heal, Elias felt a stirring in his spirit. The voice of the Lord spoke again, "You have been faithful in trials. Now I shall reveal to you the secrets of my kingdom." Elias was led to a quiet hilltop where he often prayed. There, the heavens seemed to open, and he was filled with understanding. Mysteries of the scriptures unfolded before his eyes, and the wisdom of God poured into his heart. He realized that revelation was not merely for knowledge, but for transformation and obedience. The Lord said, "To those who listen and obey, more will be given. But to those who ignore my voice, even what they have will be taken away." Elias' fame began to spread, and people sought him for counsel. Yet, he remained humble, remembering that all he had was a gift from God. One day, a young man approached him, saying, "Master, teach me the ways of stewardship and faithfulness, for I long to walk in the blessings of the Lord." Elias smiled and said, "It begins with the heart. Do not despise the day of small beginnings. Be faithful in little, and the Lord will entrust you with much. Remember, the seeds you sow today will grow into the trees of tomorrow." Years passed, and Elias grew old. Yet his spirit remained vibrant, for he had seen the faithfulness of God in every season. On his final day, surrounded by those he had blessed and taught, Elias lifted his voice in a prayer of gratitude. "Lord, you tested me and found me faithful. You blessed me, not for my sake alone, but that I might be a blessing to others. I return to you all that I am and all that I have, for it was always yours. May your name be glorified forever." As he breathed his last, the heavens opened, and Elias was received into the glory of the Lord. His story became a testament to all who heard it, a reminder that the path to blessing is paved with tests of faithfulness, generosity, and stewardship. And so, the legacy of Elias endured, inspiring generations to trust in the Lord and serve with excellence, knowing that in due season, the faithful would reap a harvest beyond measure.